1. Your whole body starts to shake as you're thrown side to side. You're riding one of the most powerful machines ever built by mankind. It's pushing you with over 10 million pounds of force. It feels like two people are sitting on you and not getting up. Just one tiny mistake, either made by a machine or a man, will result in your certain death. Hi, my name's Ishan, and today I'll be talking about space. Did you know that until 1957, to most people, stepping into the unlimited darkness seemed impossible? Seemed impossible until the Russians did it. They launched a spy satellite. Now, it was a matter of national pride for the Americans. So, the two nations went head to head in something called the Cold War. Now, the Cold War wasn't a war fought with guns, but instead with new cutting-edge technology. There was so much tension that in 1961, President Kennedy promised the nation that he would send a man to the moon in the next 10 years. Tries after tries, failure after failure, nobody could seem to get a man on the moon. But that all changed when in 1969, Neil Armstrong, an American, became the first ever man to step foot on the moon. This indeed was a giant leap for mankind. You might say, we made it to the moon like 50 years ago. So what? Did it even matter? Yes, and yes. Exploring space isn't just about discovering new planets. Rather, it's about discovering new technology. Microwaves, laptops, cell phone cameras, GPSs. All of these are existent thanks to space. Can you imagine your life without these daily essentials? We wouldn't even be on this Zoom. I bet you'd agree with me that your parents would prefer a GPS over many maps. That too, any day. So, with all of these benefits and perks of exploring space, what are the challenges in doing it? Well, first, building a rocket is still incredibly hard and expensive. Rockets are one of the most magnificent and complicated pieces of engineering ever. A standard NASA rocket ship costs $1.7 billion. That's enough to buy 7,000 Lamborghinis. For reference, here's a standard NASA rocket ship, and here are 20 Lamborghinis. Now imagine these many Lamborghinis, but 300 times more. That's a lot of cars. Not only that, but Lamborghinis are one of the most expensive cars of all time. Each one costs $300,000. Not only that, but it costs an additional $500 million for the required energy to launch a ship. Still, that hasn't deterred nations from around the world to pour trillions of dollars into their space programs. Every year, over 1,000 satellites are placed into near-Earth orbit. You'd be surprised to hear that these many satellites are starting to cause a problem. Space pollution. Space pollution is tiny, microscopic bits of broken spaceships and satellites. Well, what are some broken parts going to do? Well, these razor-sharp pieces of metal accelerate incredibly fast. So having trillions of pieces of fragments of metal accelerating thousands of miles an hour isn't exactly safe for rocket ships or satellites. So, space exploration is super important. But is there even a solution to all of this? I would say yes, and a strong one at that. Nowadays, apart from the government, companies are doing amazing work in this area. For example, take SpaceX, a company made by Elon Musk. This company builds reusable rockets. Now, instead of breaking up in the atmosphere, these rockets automatically land themselves to a safe spot on Earth. This not only cuts down the cost, but the pollution at the same time. Two SpaceX rockets only cost $390 million. Well, that might seem like a lot. That is much less than $1.7 billion. That is much more than one. That is much less than $1.7 billion. That's some of the most money the country has ever spent. Amazon is also working on space tourism, which means over the years, this will make space travel much more popular and affordable. Someday, all of us will be able to experience true weightlessness. So I believe that one day people will actually go to the moon for their honeymoon. Thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope that now you know a little bit more about space and its magical benefits.